2/3 of U.S. savers are worried about running out of money in retirement. What say you, Joseph?
I think this concern is going to only continue to get worse, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think things are drastically changing for retirees from what they saw their parents going through. We can see pensions are just, super, super rare now. If you have a pension, congratulations. People are continuing to live longer,
right?
Which is great. You want to enjoy your retirement, squeeze those years out of it. But we're running into situations where individuals are almost have as much retirement years as they did working years.
It's our parents' fault.
Yeah.
I mean, our parents, they made it look so easy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our parents retired and they're like, oh, well, they did what they wanted to do. But the financial ecosystem has changed significantly. Geopolitical risk. You have instantaneous market panic. You have social media, which is not helpful. Like we're going to a 30-second TikTok video and saying, this is how I manage my retirement. So there's so many different things today than were back in the 80s and 90s that are just changing. So I am concerned about a lot of people. I don't think that they're taking it seriously enough.
Yeah. And like I said, we learn everything we do from our parents. And if we're thinking to ourselves, well, why do I have to go through that financial planning process? My parents never had to do that. They just had these other sources of income to rely upon. Now that's all changed, right? And I mean, even mindset wise, when people get into retirement, I think that a lot of them can have this panic, almost like how people have that midlife crisis. I think people have that retirement life crisis, if you will.
Yeah.
Where they're like, wait, I was just focused on saving money in this account for 40 years. And now I have to actually start pulling money out of this and it's invested in the market. And then they can also make that same mistake where they say, well, I don't want it to be invested in the market because I don't want those fluctuations. So then they go way too conservative.
Right.
And then they go too conservative and then they live longer. There's inflation is running rampant.
Right.
It has to last many years. And then they could find out later on, well, I shouldn't have been conservative, especially that early on in my retirement, because now my purchasing power has decreased. Now I don't have as much. So it's important to still have some of that, I don't want to say aggressiveness, but not get into that mindset of, I got to be either way too conservative or way too aggressive as soon as I jump into retirement.
Yeah, they're shifting gears too much. I mean, the thing is that what I really want to see is instead of somebody panicking about their retirement at 65 and 66 years old, and now you got to step on the gas, I need to be more aggressive. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's actually think about 65 and go back to about 55 years old and really start to plan then. Really take the next decade to plan for that retirement, which is going to make 55 to 65 easier, but it's also going to make 65 to 95 10 times easier, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like we're planning for something. And unfortunately, we're not planning long enough for an event that lasts 25 to 30 years. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot more people that have to focus on accumulation, but also growing that money over time.
And I think the problem is we're making these decisions with the portfolio without having a financial plan in place first.
Right.
So you know how hard it is to make that decision?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking of an analogy as I go along here, but it's like you're in the car ride headed to a place that you don't have a map for. There's GPS isn't working. And you're like, well, should I go left or right? I think it's right.
Yeah.
Let me just go right.
Sounds good.
There's no real basis to it. Maybe right can get you there eventually, but it's a much longer route. Why would you not take the time to put the work into that financial plan first? So every move that you make in the portfolio with making income decisions, what your expenses are, everything makes sense. Everything's building on top of each other.
When someone asks me, Eric, what do the wealthy do differently? They actually have financial infrastructure in place. So they want to understand, how can I be proactive with my tax plan, my income plan? Basically, how do I actually maintain the lifestyle that I've achieved? And once we become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, we want to plan in order to understand how we can actually maintain that and keep it and not make any changes to that. So once we turn on income, that income is not only sustainable, but it's outpacing inflation. We don't have to worry about rising healthcare costs. We don't have to worry about future long-term care costs. We don't have to worry about transfers of generational wealth. We've already done that because we've built that strong financial infrastructure.
Volatility is going to be inevitable, right? No matter what time of year it is, no matter what year it is. You know now that when you have that financial plan, if that volatility is actually affecting your income, affecting your longevity. So that way, the volatility isn't making you make those irrational decisions that we find a lot of people do make just because that fear sets in. When you have the financial plan, it tells you exactly, is this affecting my income later on? Is this affecting how long my money will actually last me? No. Okay, maybe I don't have to make that change in my portfolio. Yes. Oh, maybe I should make that change, and let me see what tweaks I do have to make in that portfolio. But again, it's all about having that plan in place so you know those facts and data.
It's no doubt that today is different than the 80s and the 90s. All that geopolitical risk, that modern volatility that we have, that instantaneous market panic. And believe me, the news is on 24/7. So we really don't know what to believe. But the biggest thing is don't pay attention to the world's economy. Don't pay attention to the US economy. Pay attention to your personal economy and see how we can actually embrace and combat all that market volatility for the benefit of you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the back roads of retirement.
Do you have questions and concerns about your money, lifestyle, and retirement? Like so many, investors today worry about living expenses, healthcare costs, inflation, and stock market volatility. Instead of worrying, start planning. Eric Kearney and his team at Retirement Wealth Advisors want to sit down, get to know you, and start to build a plan that matches your vision and goals. Let's have a real conversation about what's important to you and how we get there. We'll help build you a plan based on your goals, lifestyle, and income needs, with financial clarity over complexity. Call us today for a farm fresh second opinion. Remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. Thanks for riding along with us today. We hope you got some good dirt. If you liked today's show, subscribe, like, and share with all your farm truck friends. We hope you'll join us for the next ride on Farm Truck Financial, where we're always planting seeds for a better future, 1 mile, $1 at a time.
Farm Truck Financial, we're riding with you down the back road steady.